Thank you very much, Heidi. Ladies and gentlemen, first I have to say that it's my honor to be here on the stage this afternoon and give the keynote speech to this audience. But actually, when I look at you, you look pretty serious. I think there are two reasons for that. Either you are from abroad, and you know that when we talk about security, it's a very serious issue, and we should have this serious face. The other explanation may be that you are from Finland, and you are a Finn, and we Finnish people, we are serious. Because I don't think that it was coincidence that when Angry Birds was invented, it was invented here in Finland. No nice birds, happy birds, talking birds, angry birds. I would say very Finnish. But so that our guests from abroad don't get the wrong expression, I have to emphasize that we Finns, we have other emotions also, as you can see in this picture. So I'm a Finn. I talk about security, so this is going to be very serious. But actually, my starting point is that when we talk security nowadays, it should not be so serious. When we just think of the hierarchy of the needs by Maslow, you are very well aware of this. We know that we need first food, water, shelter. Thank you very much, it was excellent lunch. And then we have to have, at least in some level, safety and security in place in order to do everything else. So security, when we are thinking about our lives, our societies, our businesses, it's like a basic element, whatever we are doing. On the other hand, thinking outside of the box, someone has been saying that there should be this new level under everything, and that's called internet. So when we talk cybersecurity, I think this is probably the best national cybersecurity strategy what we have seen in the world. It was published about 1 month ago in Australia, and this is the front page, saying Australia's cybersecurity strategy enabling innovation, growth and prosperity. And I think this is excellent starting point. So when we talk about security, we should not be so negative, not be so serious, because security, for me, I have been working with security issues more than 20 years as an officer in the Finnish Defence Forces, in business life and universities. And for me, security is an enabler and positive issue. But on the other hand, if you look at the Finnish constitution, it clearly states everyone has the right to life, personal liberty, integrity, and security. So I would say that security is also necessity. For example, like our security authorities here in Finland takes care of our national security in land, sea, and air, they should take care of the digital domain as well as the other domain in today's world. But on the other hand, when I look at the Finns nowadays and our society, I think cybersecurity skills are like a basic skills what we each one of should have. So security, cybersecurity is a necessity as well. So what is actually happening? It's the digitalization. More and more events, phenomena, whatever, are being transferred from this physical domain to this digital domain. And I think that even today, we don't fully understand how dependent we already are on this digital domain. And when I'm talking about cybersecurity, I call the security of this digital domain. And I am not talking about it from the technological point of view, because I think it's wrong. When I'm talking about this digital security, nowadays it is securing our societies, our businesses, and our way of living. It's so integral part of our daily lives when we are talking about the Western world. But if we forget for a while the word cyber and we just talk security, I think it's very important to understand that when we are talking about security in today's world, this is the new paradigm of the security where we are living already. And I would summarize this new paradigm of the security, which applies as well in this digital world as well as this physical world, in these 3 points. First of all, speed of change. Things are changing very fast. For example, if I would have been here 2 years ago telling you what is the situation from the security point of view today in Europe, from the migration point of view, ISIS point of view, Russian point of view, probably you wouldn't have believed me. The change has been really fast. And when we go to this digital domain, the change is even faster. The humankind is at the moment developing in a more radical and more innovative way technology that it has never done before. And this leads to my second point. If I would have to summarize in 2 words what is the new security paradigm, I would call it unpredictable instability. That is the new normal. And my third point is this digital physical complexity. Understand the whole security environment from the both domains. So you know these development pictures. Everything will be connected to the internet and the speed is accelerating. For example, this year, every hour, 5 million new devices are connected to the internet. And of course, from the security point of view, we ask that is it same when we talk about Internet of Everything? Is it same as security of everything? Short answer, no. Everything is going to be smart. Smart energy, smart traffic, smart cities, hopefully some days smart husbands. From security point of view, I didn't say wife. From security point of view, smart is as the same as exploitable. Someone might misuse it, use it in a wrong way. But I would say that even bigger issue than this Internet of Everything is this data explosion, what we are experiencing at the moment. Meaning that the data, what we have at the moment here in the whole world, will be doubled within next 12 months. And probably it may be even 100-fold by the end of the 2029. So it's no surprise that we are talking about digital privacy issues. We are talking about big data issues in today's world. And at the same time, of course, security people ask that is information security involved in these issues? Or when this data is being transferred via sea cables and other cables in the world, who is controlling these data flows? So let me give you one example how strategic this is nowadays. This is excellent document. It's the annual worldwide threat assessment from the United States intelligence community. Intelligence community which consists of 16 different intelligence agencies like FBI, CIA, and 14 others. And once a year they publish this document presenting what are the threats against the only military superpower in the world, United States. And it wasn't a surprise that this year cyber threats are the #1 threats against the United States, because this is the 3rd year in a row when they are saying it. But the new thing is that cyber and technology is the #1 security issue for the United States. So let's put this in right context. Cyber and technology, #1 national threat against the only military superpower in the world. And after that comes Mr. Putin, North Korea, ISIS, word of the weapons of the mass destruction, and so on. And on this first page, When they talk about cyber and technology, they talk about Internet of Things, and in the third chapter, artificial intelligence. Quite amazing. But of course, when we talk about security, we talk always trust, we talk always ethics. And I think this ethics is one issue what we are forgetting at the moment in today's world. Because I believe that humankind may change more in next 30 years than past 300 years because of this accelerating and very radical development of the technology. And we are not far from this point when we are thinking that the point is that we are not thinking anymore what the machines and the computers can do, what we are letting them to do. And this I call digital ethics, which I think the importance of it when we are talking about the security here is going to be more important. And that's the reason when I'm talking about cybersecurity, I always want to emphasize that we should move more from the technology and control-centric to human-centric cybersecurity. We should not forget human. That should be the starting point. So what this means in practice? Let me give you a few practical examples. I was a few weeks ago in Washington and not visited White House, but walking around the White House. And there were a lot of these kind of signs saying that the vicinity of the White House is no drone zone. You can't fly drone vicinity of the White House. This is one security issue what we are talking about nowadays. For example, a while ago, some students in the Sheffield University in the United Kingdom, they actually 3D printed an aircraft and assembled it within 24 hours. And how the situation may change when all of us will have these kind of 3D printers in our homes. We can print our own drones, our own guns, and everything else. And this is not far from today. But I would say, because Finland is pretty often estimated as the most innovation country in the whole world, I think comparing to these students in the Sheffield University, we can even more think outside of the box here in Finland. And here is one example. A couple of Finnish farmers, they actually attached the chainsaw, the drone, and they are doing different nasty things. I didn't show this video to my colleagues in the United States. Let me give you another example. Nowadays, for example, here in Finland, more than 1 million people are using these activity wristbands. And you can even buy the insurances. And when you buy this insurance, the logic is that you will have this activity wristband with the insurance, and you have to keep it. And it is all the time sending the data to the insurance company. And the logic is that the healthier you live, the more you walk, the less you pay. And this is one way to misuse it. But actually I have heard that much better collecting steps way is to put this activity wristband to your cat or to your dog and then just let it go running outside. You will save money. But to be a little bit more serious, at the moment, about half of these health wristbands which are on the market doesn't even have any privacy policy. Doesn't tell me, for example, if I am using it, where my data will be sent, who will control that data, or will I be able to get my data if I want it. And there has been, for example, examples that when the company is not doing well, these companies start to sell the people's health data in the internet's black market. And everything else can happen also. And of course, as you know, in this digital domain, nasty things are happening pretty often. This is in Finnish, but saying that all my personal email accounts a while ago were breached. Someone, I don't know who, stole all my contacts and sent in my name to all my contacts an email having these links and this attachment, and if you clicked it, then something bad happened to your computer. This is the reality what is happening. Or for example, I have so pretty face, that's why I'm using myself as an example. I was a while ago in the morning TV here in Finland, and very short when this broadcast was finished, some Twitter accounts were delivering these kind of screenshots, having my face and my title from the television, and then put totally wrong words to my mouth and spreading them into the internet, saying like this, that I am saying that the Mr. Putin is behind everything bad. But what about after 5 years? When my children, for example, Google my name, what our father has been doing previously, they can find news like this. Who will then them that was this true or not? But I also have to say that I like the idea that in the future the traffic would probably look like this. All the car companies at the moment are prioritizing to developing the self-driving cars. Not only Google, more or less everyone. And it was a while ago when this first self-driving car was actually, it was its fault caused an accident in California. I actually wonder that who filled this incident report. But at the same time, of course, when we are building these self-driving cars, and they are coming to be more common in coming years, there are many ethical questions. For example, if there is only bad options, for example, you should drive over a pedestrian or a passerby, what the choice the car will do? Or does it make a difference if for example, the pedestrian is a woman, man, elderly, a child? Who will make the decision at that moment? It was actually a very good example a while ago. I was visiting Japan, and I met the CTO, Chief Technological Officer of the Toyota, you know, this big car company. And he told me that they are building strongly at the moment and putting big yenis to build these self-driving cars. But at the same time, these engineers who are building these self-driving cars are learning human sciences in order to understand better the human decision-making process, the human thinking. And I think that was very wisely said. But on the other hand, maybe, for example, here in the Helsinki University, when there is this faculty of the human science, maybe they should also learn something from the technology, as vice versa. When we talk about this cyber domain, of course we have to understand, as well as here in the physical world, that there are different actors. There are hackers who are able to do different things. Cyber activism with some political message. This phenomenon is increasing at the moment. Of course, the criminals are there where the money is, in the digital world. And this is a very strategic domain nowadays for the nation states and companies. And I think one of the trends, what is happening at the moment, especially in the United States, is that companies are hacking each other in order to steal their strategies, customer details, and other issues. But I have to say that lately, especially I just came back from the Gulf security conference from the Bahrain, as well as in Bahrain, as well as in Washington and many other places. At the moment when we are talking about cybersecurity, we are actually talking about extremists in this digital domain. And we are talking especially ISIS. Because ISIS is the first, I would argue, the terrorist organization which is utilizing very well, unfortunately, this digital domain for their purposes. And they have different groups in different parts of the world, and they are spreading propaganda in very professional way in most cases. And it was just a report from the United Nations saying that the last year, more than 20,000 new members joined ISIS from more than 100 countries. So I would say that this recruitment process in digital domain is working. But they are not only spreading propaganda to the Western world. I think this is a good example of what they are doing. For example, they are creating applications for the kids, which they can download in their iPhones or Android phones or other phones. This is the way this terrorist organization is using this digital domain. And as you know, the purpose of the terrorism is to spread terror, spread fear. And what they have exactly done recently, I would say during the last 12 months, is that they have been publishing, for example, in the United States, the officers and the military personnel or the security personnel details with pictures, home addresses, family member names, whatever, in the internet, and then putting these kind of messages that our brothers in the United States go and kill them. Now you know how they look and where they live. And this is one way spreading propaganda at the moment. And it was just last week, actually, when ISIS published the names and the street addresses and some other information of more than 3,000 people in the New York area. And once again, telling in the internet that we want them dead, spreading propaganda. And the latest one, probably you read this in the news, was actually just a few days ago when the Abu Mohammed, who is the spokesperson for the ISIS, he was urging to hit different targets in Europe and United States. But the big question at the moment is that is ISIS able to carry out more sophisticated cyber attacks, for example, against the critical infrastructure in the Western world? Because they have been making these threats, these publications lately quite a lot, saying that we will hit your electricity grid, we will hit your air traffic control and other places. For example, this one, that they will hit the Paris. Well, at the moment, it seems that they do not have that kind of sophisticated capability, but I think that this is a growing threat that we have to take into consideration. And I think this indicates very well how they are thinking about their activities. This is one of the front cover in their propaganda magazine, and you can see that there is a physical bullet and there is a USB stick. They are acting in both domains. But nowadays, of course, the countermeasures are done also. This is the video how United States is bombing one of the cash and finance distribution centers of the ISIS near Mosul. But then at the same time, fighting in the physical world, we are fighting, or the United States and allies are fighting in this digital domain. And there was a first wartime assignment for the United States Cyber Command announced recently. But then actually, to the end, I think the main challenge for me, for you, especially for the security, is not actually to understand these phenomena here in this digital domain, in this artificial man-made technical domain. If I would have to say that what is the most challenging megatrend when we are talking about understanding the security, we should understand the hands of the world like this. How the digital domain and the physical world is being ever more closer interaction to each other in coming years. And understand this whole approach, this whole security environment, not only digital, not only physical, but this whole environment, that's critical. And I think it's very well said in this World Economic Forum's report, saying that what in job life, what are the top skills 2015 and 2020? And it's the same number one, complex problem solving. And that is exactly what is the most challenging in security, not only cybersecurity, but security in coming years. Because, for example, we often forget that when we talk about this digital security, there is very strong physical infrastructure under it. So, for example, if I would have to say what the internet does look like, I would probably show you this picture, about 300 sea cables, where the more than 98% of the data is being transferred in the world. And at the moment, for example, United States, my colleagues over there, they are concerned about these sea cables. You can see especially the eastern coast of the United States. There are many cables over there. And recently they have been seeing this kind of Yantar ships from Russia. And then there are some analyses that what is happening on the sea and especially under the sea. And this is the same situation here in Finland. These are the lifelines, I would call, of our digital security. And we just actually opened the new one from Helsinki to Germany. This was opened last Thursday, called Sea Cable Sea Lion. And I was actually in that project for 1.5 years involved. And it was very interesting because we were forced to take into consideration different kind of threats what this sea cable may face. But there was actually one threat that we didn't have to take into consideration. This is the video from the Pacific, and there's a Google cable, and you can see that threat is coming. And we don't have sharks in the Baltic Sea. So, ladies and gentlemen, my friends, now you know the path. It's time to walk it. And of course, in not so serious, but in a secure way. Thank you very much. Thank you.